Remember the time when you wanted more. Remember the time when there were people in your life that did not believe in you. Remember the time when you honestly gave up on the possibilities of the uniqueness that you had inside. Remember there was a time that you complained so much, but yet did so little. There comes to a point in your life that you must recognize that there's a little bit more that has to be done than just complaining about it. You have to realize that you don't have any other opportunities waiting for you.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Ikone. And we're here on 910 Sports TV once again. First and foremost, want to thank God for this opportunity to be on here on this great platform, to be with great people. So I'm gonna go from my right to my left, you know what I'm saying, and incomparable, you know what I'm saying, the Pat Riley, the Mike Ditka, who else I can name? The Tom Landry, the Andy Reid of coaching at Lamont T. Goins. How you doing, my guy?
Hey, it's good to be here, man. Just like you said, blessed to be with you, great gentlemen, man. Appreciate it. Good evening, everybody.
Yes, sir. And then next I got, you know what I'm saying, the smooth operator, you know what I'm saying, good health, you know what I'm saying, the Cowboys #1 fan, the future agency of the year, you know what I'm saying, Jacob the Great, none other than King Jacob. What's going on, brother?
Man, what up, man? Glad to be in the land of the living, and just another blessed day to be in the land of the living. I'm blessed to be on here with you, wonderful gentlemen, man, so we can give them what we perceive as sports media.
Yeah,
Amen.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Hey, I was looking at the photo on the intro, and I was looking at Mr. Coach Goins. He looked so young and dapper on there. I said he looked kind of Puerto Rico. You know what I mean?
I got to update that past a couple years ago. That's before I had to wear them glasses permanently.
Yeah, I hear
but
that. I hear that.
but anyway, man, we're gonna get right into it. First and foremost, man, I want to talk about this whole RG3 and Ryan Clark situation because me and Jacob have had some heated discussions. You know what I'm saying? That nothing. We ain't RG3 and Ryan Clark. We ain't about to jump on each other, but we have our heated discussions. So you know what I'm saying about it off camera or whatever. And so just to give you my perspective on it, and I'm gonna let Jacob give his perspective on it. Then you can chime in, Coach Goins. So I said to me, both of them had some wrongness in the situation. First of all, I felt like Ryan Clark shouldn't have never uh, kind of brought his wife into the situation. To me, the situation was about Caitlin Clark and Angela Reese, and it should have been a perspective from that point of view, not this man's personal life, what's going on in his home, who he's married to, none of that. That wasn't necessary in this situation, and it's bothering me now that these media guys are getting more and more personal in the way they approach these different situations, whether it was Stephen A. and LeBron, whether it's Skip Bayless sometimes getting personal. I don't like when it gets to that level. Now, on our G3 side is when he basically said, ESPN, you need to step up and reprimand this man. The one thing you don't do is you don't violate a man the way he make his money. You know what I'm saying? That's the way that
That's a
man
good
make his
call.
money.
Yep.
That's something that wasn't necessary. You know what I mean? But like I told Jacob, I said, if at the end of the day, you know what I mean, if you say something about my family, we're gonna have to have a conversation. You don't gotta get physical, nothing like that. But I understand RG3's point of view. You know what I mean? You stepped over the line. A lot of people, Marcellus Wiley felt like he violated. A lot of people thought he violated. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, you know what I mean? I just felt like it went too far because he even took away from the story to now them girls have moved on. It's a week later, y'all still going at it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
Without a
so
doubt.
Jacob Steph must have to step
Now,
out for a minute. So, oh, there you go, there you go. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
So,
what?
so
So you tell them what you think and then we gonna let Coach Goins jump in.
Um, I just think, man, it wouldn't have been so bad if RG3Y wasn't cackling in the background when you're talking about this system. And it seems to me that when a brother is married to a white woman, you know, when it comes to a black woman or a black man, it seems like they try to say something as if that white woman they married has ever walked in the shoes of a black woman or a black man, or has ever understood what it feels like for a black person to walk on American soil. And so I feel like as far as from a fan perspective, fans already have their perception about RG3, you know, especially the pro black fans. You know what I'm saying? And so when Ryan Clark brought this to the forefront and you know, so a lot of us didn't know they had ongoing beef, you know, but yeah, had should have Ryan Clark should have left the man wife out of it. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, there's a lot of variables that can go on. And what people don't know is I've been following Andrew Reese and Caitlin Clark for a long time. I know off camera that they're cool. I know that they played in AAU competitions against one another and been knowing each other for years. And I know that they're trying to make the sport competitive. And so it may look like they don't get along, but that's not the case. You know what I mean? Because they've been knowing each other for years. But it's up to the sports media guys to do their research on how far this history go back. It goes farther, it goes way back farther than Iowa and LSU. You know what I mean? So therefore, you know, that the beef wasn't really about Angela Reese and Caitlin Clark. Yeah, that might be a small synopsis of it, but that goes deeper than RG3 and Ryan Clark dislike for one another. You know what I mean? It go real deep when RG3 and Ryan Clark played for Washington Redskins, you know, which is now the Washington Commanders. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they're ever going to get along, and I think everybody else needs to stay out of it. You know, as especially chicken forehead Stephen A. Smith. You know, he definitely needs to stay out of it because he always getting somebody business, man. Always getting somebody business. So that's just my take on it, bro.
Yeah, go ahead, Coach.
All right, so again, just appreciate you guys as always, man. But I'm gonna start here. I think it's a little salty with RJ3 because ESPN let him go, so he's gonna jump out there and say, "Okay, ESPN, you need to reprimand Ryan Clark." Here's the issue that I have with it. Both of those guys are sharing space. They're sharing airtime. Ryan Clark, I'm partial to Ryan just because he's a he's a former Steeler. He does a great job with his segment, his shows. But I'm like Ikone is when you don't cross the line. You don't you talk about the subject matter. I don't need to talk about your wife, whether she's Caucasian, whether she's black, whether whatever. Um, Nationality she is, leave that alone. The subject matter was Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Don't bring your wife in. Don't bring your cousin in. Don't bring Pookie, Nuke, and whoever in. Talk about the subject matter. And you're exactly right. Because here's the thing: what Stephen A. wants to do that wants to fill some by time. He wants some fluff in his show instead of those guys talking about the issue. And Jacob is exactly right. Listen, people can say what they want to about Caitlin Clark. She is putting butts in the seats. She's selling
Yeah,
out the arenas, and she's helping everybody get paid. Right? Whether she shoots the three, whether she don't shoot the three, whether she creates a hard foul, people can hate it they want. I mean, these women now are flying on chartered jets where they used to be flying commercial. They fill up the seats because why? People come to see Caitlin Clark. I get it, just like the long ball in the NBA. Everybody wants to shoot the three. That's the way the game goes. And guess what? You got to adapt. Same thing with NIL. A lot of these legendary coaches want to get out. Bottom line is Caitlin Clark is selling tickets to these arenas. And Jacob's exactly right. They're off the court. They're good with it. Because again, you got to have Batman and you got to have the Joker, right? You don't have
Mhm.
Batman and Robin without the Riddler. You don't have Batman and Robin without Catwoman. So you got to have the good, the bad, and the ugly. And they're just trying to create this. So then guess what? You put more fans in the seat. And then guess what? When they look at that, they're going to put more games on the schedule because they want them. And guarantee you what? Every one of them games, when both of those ladies are on the floor, are sold out. Iconic?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and so and another thing too, like I was telling Jacob, I said what some people didn't realize when RG3 kind of rebutted the situation, did his rebuttal, he was basically like, "Bruh, you got a white baby mama, you know what I'm saying? And so what's the difference between me being married to a white woman and you having a white baby mama?" And then me and Jacob was like, Jacob, me and the talking, he was like, "Well, that's kind of different because it's different between being married and being and having a baby with a girl with a white girl." And I said, "Well, if you look at it from like the Umar Johnson kind of mindset, he pretty much brought another mixed child in the world. So, and if you look at it from how Umar Johnson looks at it from a pro-black situation, that to him he probably look at that as almost being worse because you can always marry the woman, divorce the woman. You can't. The child is here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really care one way or another. I'm just saying from the standpoint of RG3 of Ryan Clark, it was almost being hypocritical that you kind of came at this man on a level, and then Marcellus Wiley made a good point. So Marcellus Wiley was saying, like, or Ryan Clark was saying, basically, when you go home and you can't have discussions with your wife about a black woman's world and what's going on with a black woman. And he said, well, that doesn't make any sense because he got a black mama, he got a black aunt, he got black sisters. And he was like, maybe in his home he can't talk about it, but he still can relate because I'm pretty sure he's seen his mama's struggles, his sisters and his sisters and auntie struggles. So he's been, and he's like, it's no different if we go home right now and you talking about a white person in your house, you ain't white, but you might have an opinion, good, bad, and different about what you see with a white person every day.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, you know.
Yeah, it's
But
just
anyway, but
it's
y'all got anything else to say on this matter, or what y'all want to move on?
no. I mean, here's I mean, and I go here. The bad thing about it is these guys are given platforms, and just like the three of us, if we, the day comes when we're up there and we're in the big time like that, look here, man. I'm talking about the subject matter. When we say cut and you go home and you get in your car and you go do your thing, you go do your thing. But when I come in here, I'm coming in here to do one thing: talk about the subject matter, deliver it to the fans. And I know. I mean, they're two intelligent guys, and they just need to be able to say, okay, you know what, it's done. I'm sorry, I apologize. Let's move on.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
coach. We extended you out for the rest of the year just to let you know.
Oh,
So
okay,
you
all
got a
right.
full, yeah, yeah, yeah. You got a full contract now.
Appreciate, appreciate. I had my bags packed just in case I had to. I might be with the Knicks. I didn't know if I was gonna walk in. My locker gonna be cleaned out or what.
Now we always go about to see you to Charlotte, but we said we're gonna do you a little bit better than that.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but anyway, you got things to say on Jacob, or you want to move on? Sorry about that.
We can move on. We can move on.
So we talked about a subject. We talked about. So I know Jacob said he's seen something on Russell Westbrook and CP3 might be retiring. I didn't see anything official, but I know I guess it's been a discussion over the last couple of days that it could happen, or if they don't find a new team. So what's the legacy on those two guys and y'all? And I'll let since Jacob brought it up to me, I'll let you start on what you feel like those two guys' legacy is.
Remarkable, incredible. Russell Westbrook. Um, Man, where do I start? A point guard position, the most triple doubles in history. MVP. All star. Great defensive player. Led the league in steals. 3, 4 consecutive years. And Chris Paul, the only point guard in history with 20,000 points and 15,000 assists. Hey, you know what I mean? A
Mm-hmm.
great accomplishment, and he's such a great mentor, man. You know, when you're a general on the floor and you know people genuinely like them guys. And I heard somebody say that if Mike Malone was still coaching Denver, Denver wouldn't be out. You know, they didn't know what to do without Mike Malone. And I heard another person say, "Well, he showed the old guy too much favoritism, and they ain't like that." I was like, "Well, you know,
Mhm.
talking to somebody that understand the game through and through, that's been in the league already 17, 18 years, you know, if that's favoritism, I just think these young guys is too touchy feely, they too emotional, man. You know, I can see them retiring and playing at the Powder Puff games. You know, they're just too emotional,
Oh,
bro.
okay.
Yeah,
Heck
man,
no.
they're just too emotional, man. They just get mad about everything. You can't nobody say nothing to them. They all touch it really, man. You know what you want a pacifier and a rattler and go sit in the angry corner? What's the matter, man?
That's about right. Go ahead, Coach.
Man,
Man, this guy.
I tell you what, if I'd have known that, man, I'd have stopped by and got a rattle. But here's my thing with Westbrook, right? Is Jacob is exactly right. But here's what I want to put on Jacob's baked the cake. Now let me put the candles on this sucker, right? Is is Russell Westbrook a winner? When I say winner, mean championships, right? Is he selfish? And I'm not taking anything away from his triple doubles and everything that he's complete. But when you bottom line it out, what is really the issue, Jack? Just like I was reading earlier this week, where it said that when he went in the locker room, Gordon had to kind of calm him down because he was upset because he was open and they didn't kick it to him. All right, man, guess what? You don't make the shot. Now, who you gonna blame? But you didn't get the ball, then you want to call your teammates out versus to say, okay, you know what? Well, I was open in the corner. Okay, but guess what? Do you want that burden to not make the shot? But and that's the thing that I've always struggled with Westbrook, and just from and I've of course never coached at that high level, but I always like this energy. But the problem with the energy, he always had one speed. That's wide open, 100 miles an hour. Where do you slow down and pick your spots? Right, and I think that's my thing. And so my bottom line on Russell Westbrook, first ballot Hall of Famer without a doubt, but a championship, no.
You're right. You asked the right because you say he don't have but one speed, and that's go. That's go,
That's
go, go,
go.
go. You know,
It,
not slow down. Let me set
correct.
this up. Let me get this
Correct.
person involved. Let me
That
get this person involved. You're right.
that's if I ever met him face to face, that's what I'd have to ask him and say, where do you come in the game and play at 80% or 85%? And I don't know if that's somebody's always challenged him and say, hey, you got to give 110%. Not that he's not, but when you look at it, it's just like how much is enough?
So what about CP3? What's your thoughts on CP3?
Oh, hey, well, you know what, Jake, and I'll let me go ahead and light this candle. You know, he's a class act. He's a North Carolina guy. When I mean North Carolina, Winston Salem, of course, played at Wake Forest. Wherever he's gone, he has laid the groundwork, and I think the league will miss him once it's over with to be able to reach back. And sometimes guys don't get their flowers until after the fact. But he's a winner. I mean, to play as long as he played and to be healthy. And the other night we was on the game, and I was so happy to see him there back at the OKC, and they're celebrating the
Shay.
SGA's
Mm,
MVP. But he's just a class act, man. And my thing like that, I really want guys when they reach that pinnacle of their career, kind of just to go ahead and fade out. Don't go out with injury. Don't go out trying to be, you end up on the team and you're not playing. Just, understand that you ride the train, and sometimes you got to be when it pulls in the station, you got to get off.
But
okay, so how I feel about Russell Westbrook, I feel like I've always liked him. I always liked his energy. I'll always like his toughness. I always liked his competitive. He was very competitive. Like he's probably one of the most competitive players that you've seen, just as far as like wearing it on his sleeve. Because I never like to say a person is more competitive than somebody else, just because some players are competitive, they just don't necessarily show it in emotion or whatever. But they show it like on mail, they the way they play. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. So I don't really like to say, oh well, because when they say the mama mentality or Jordan or whatever, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily like, and then I forgot who it was that used to play with Kobe. And it was like a role player. He was saying he felt like he was just as competitive as Kobe. Him and Kobe didn't get along when they was on the team because I guess he didn't necessarily bow down to Kobe. He used to try to come at Kobe in practice and stuff. And so I was like, so it's kind of hard to measure somebody's competitive nature
That's
a lot of times. But at the end of the day, is he a first ballot? Yes. I just feel like he probably would have been better off to me riding it out in Oklahoma City because the one thing you heard about him was everywhere he went, a lot of the players loved him as far as his competitive men on the court, but he was hard to get along with. He was
yeah.
very moody a lot of time at times, so it's kind of hard to get a gauge. And if you're going from team to team, by the time you probably get comfortable with him, he's gone again. You know what I'm saying? And I knew the Lakers thing. I knew that wasn't going to work. I knew from day one. I said this is not going to work. I said
Train
LeBron is
wreck.
used to having shooters around him. He's another somebody else that needs the ball in his hand to be effective. It's not going to work. So it didn't. It never surprised me at all. It didn't work. The Clippers
Well, he
situation was different
well
because,
he ain't had nothing since he been with the Lakers.
huh?
He ain't had nothing since he been with the Lakers.
Had none what issues?
No shooters.
Who had have any shooters? The Lakers.
Wrong. No, they ain't got no
That's
shooters,
why
man.
they can't win. That's why they ain't been winning. They ain't no shooters. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's exactly why they ain't been winning. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that's what he needed more than Russell Westbrook as far as that concerned, especially the way he dominates the ball, especially
Mhm.
because Russell Westbrook is not like an Austin Reeves. You can kind of control that. Like Coach was saying, Russell Westbrook is one speed. So by the
Right.
time he running down the court, the other players still trying to get down there, and he's already down there, like waiting on, like yo coming. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like just like one, like it's just one
Right.
speed. You know what I'm saying? He
But
don't know
what?
how to slow it. You know what I mean?
But I kind of what's so amazing to me, Russell Westbrook is an old dude, man. Been in the league a long time, and these players 22, 23 can't keep up with him. To me,
You're
that's
right.
crazy. That's crazy, man.
Oh
But
yeah.
think about it. They can't keep up with Bron. They can't keep up with Steph. There's a lot of beauty. They can't keep up with KD. You know what I mean? Just
Mm-mm,
as far as like the energy and playing every night and
mm-mm,
all this kind of stuff, they can't keep up with none of them. None of these
Mm-mm.
old dudes. You
Nope.
know what I'm saying?
Nope.
Now CP3, hey, I love him. I don't know as far as like we say top 5, top 10 point guard type player. You probably have to put him up there, maybe 10. I don't know. But I mean, I love his competitive nature. I love the fact that he make his teammates better. I feel bad he never won one. I really wanted him to get one when he was not this time around. Who was he before this? With Phoenix. Was it Phoenix?
Yeah,
Phoenix.
he was there. He was
I
in Phoenix.
really man, I was bro, hey, y'all, man, when they was playing against Milwaukee, man, I was like, dang, I thought because I think they was up. Didn't they go up 2-0
Yeah.
or 2-1?
Didn't
I
that
just
in that he got hurt what in that series or the year I can't remember. I know he got hurt down either. I might be misspeaking, but I thought he got hurt
He
somewhere
got
on that run. What you got, Jacob?
he got hurt in the series
Yep.
before,
Okay. Series. Yep.
like
yeah, but
the
he
fourth
always got
game
hurt.
four,
Yep. And
game
With the
four.
that's
Clippers, he kept getting hurt. The
kept
Clippers,
getting hurt.
I was like, and I think when did he get? He got hurt. I think when he was with Houston, when he was with James Harden. What
Yep.
I'm saying, after he got hurt, and they was on the brink of winning that series. That
Yep.
that was the year where Golden State had KD, and they was up like I think 2-1 or 3-2 or something like that in that series. They was up 3-2 because that series went 7 games. If y'all remember, y'all don't
Right.
remember that, and Chris Paul got hurt. You know what I'm
That's
saying? And he was giving it to him. He was giving it. He was controlling that series. So I just
that's
hate to see him go out like. But I'm with you, like you, Coach. I just don't like to see these players when they look like Charles Barkley and you know what
gotta
I'm saying, and Shaq and all these guys at the end. I don't like Vince Carter. I don't like to see that.
no
You know what I'm
no
saying. I rather like I said LeBron need to. If LeBron, I think LeBron next year need to be. I really feel like right now should be it for LeBron.
well
But next year I definitely think it should be it for him. And I'm gonna say this before we move on because they talked about when he does retire, should he do a tour? And even Stephen A. Smith said he should because that just to give the fans to be able to honor him and the league and all that because he's done so much on and off the court that he deserves that. And I said, well, and I kind of believe that because I said, everybody think it's about a person being selfish or not selfish. But I said, you got to think a lot of players did it. I said, I think Larry Bird did it, Dr. J, Kobe. It's a few players that decided they wanted to tour. And Kareem, I think Kareem did it.
He did
So
it. Yep.
it's not because I remember the rocking chair. He was the first
Yep.
person I remember with the rocking chair whole thing. And I said, so I think it's just up to the player. Sometimes you don't have no, and especially when you can control the narrative.
That's
When
what you want.
you know what I mean. I think when you control the narrative and say, okay, this is it for me, but I think next year need to be his last year. But I think CP3, if he wants to do one more year to do the tour, I don't have a problem with him or Westbrook doing that if that's what they choose to do. You know what I'm saying? But
It's tough. It's tough.
but anyway, before we get to the NBA playoffs, if anybody else has another subject, we're gonna jump into this
I
NBA
do.
playoff preview.
I
Go
got
ahead.
one more. Michael Jeffrey Jordan is a commentator now that's going to get paid $40 million a year. So they want Jordan back in this thing so bad. They pays them. They're paying $40 million a year. Do you think this is a good look for professional basketball or not?
Go ahead, coach. Because man, you shaking your head.
Man, I got to get. I'm glad he brought that up, man. You know what? Here's the deal. I'm not a Jordan guy. All right, I'm putting that out there publicly. I'm not a Michael Jordan guy, right? And what I mean by that is, here's the thing, right? Jordan is all about Jordan. Here's the how you gonna pay him $40 million. What you go first of all, when you turn around and I get NBC gets the contract and you lose an iconic show like TNT, I mean you lose, Kenny Smith, Charles, Ernie Johnson, and
Mhm.
Shaq. I mean, I don't care, and those guys are great, but I just want Ernie Johnson's stylist. I want him to call me and tell me where he gets his clothes from. No, but Jordan, you gonna pay him $40 million to do what? Is he gonna sit? Does he have the patience to sit there and call a game? Think about it. He was the owner of the Charlotte Hornets, and who did ever bring in there to win the championship?
Nobody.
What great player ever? Now you want me? Okay, you never brought a great player in to win any games in Charlotte. Now you think I'm gonna turn my television on, even though I ain't got but a 55-inch, and listen to this joker talk about basketball? He's supposed to be the GOAT, but yet he ain't trying to put no GOAT pellets out on the bowl and his team. I'm just not a Michael Jordan guy. I'm really not. I'm gonna get off that soapbox. But $40 million, I think it's a slap in the face to everybody that's trying to make a living, and the dude's a billionaire.
Mm, wow. I was not expecting that at all. At all.
well, well,
That threw
well,
me.
I am a Michael Jordan guy. I am a Michael
Okay.
Jordan guy.
Hey,
I'm a
well,
North Carolina Tar.
we can
I'm
debate
a
all
North.
night, baby.
I'm a North Carolina Tar Heels guy.
Well,
So
I don't have no
therefore,
problem with the Tar Heels. I'm
so
just like
so
you
so
see who's over my shoulder.
so
I'm a Kobe guy.
I understand you're a Kobe guy. I
You a
understand.
Kobe guy. What you talking about? You a Kobe guy.
But I'm a Mike guy first. So
Yeah, okay. Just because
yeah,
I'm
so
not really
but
a Kobe guy.
yeah, yeah,
I don't begrudge people walk, but I'm not a Kobe guy.
yeah, no, you just don't get Kobe no props. Like we ain't gonna
No,
talk about that.
no, it's not on
No,
giving
no,
no
no,
prop.
no.
I just don't think he's top five. I just don't think it.
It
You
ain't but
know what I
it,
mean?
it ain't but three people in my top three. With Mike, Kobe, LeBron. That's my top three.
I mean, mine is LeBron. Mine is LeBron, Jordan, and probably I would probably have to put Kareem. That's my top three. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And then
okay.
you go from there with Magic. You go with Magic, Bill Russell, whoever you want to go after that. But
Yeah,
them
yeah.
top three, that's my top three. That ain't gonna never
I'm just,
change.
I'm gonna forever be disappointed in you when you give me your list. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna go on.
Why,
We're gonna go.
so what you
Bro,
mean? Kareem is top.
ain't no,
Kareem got the most accolades
ain't,
out of
ain't,
all of them. To be honest with you,
ain't,
if you look at the
ain't,
accolades between them three, Kareem got the most accolades out of all the three. But you know
ain't
what I'm
talking
saying?
about
Really?
Kareem. Ain't talking about Kareem, man. Ain't no way you can
Are
put
you saying because
LeBron
I don't got
before.
Kobe in there?
Ain't no way you can put LeBron before Mike. Well, are you serious?
I didn't say no order. I just said Mike, Jordan, and Kareem. I didn't put them in no order. You know, come on, Jacob. You know I put them 1 and 1A. I always told you that. I've never put
Man,
one above the other one. I just
listen,
never liked the fact that people have to, when they talk about Jordan, they have to demean LeBron. You don't have to
Correct.
demean one to big
Correct.
up the other one. That's
Correct.
I mean,
been my
I think
only point.
I think both are great. Both
That's
are
what I'm
great,
saying in a different way.
and I think it's just what you prefer and how you grew up watching basketball. That's
Exactly.
what I think. I don't think these kids really understand on how the NBA was in trouble before Mike came along. I mean, I ain't saying it because I said it. I'm saying it because I heard Magic say it. I've heard Bird say it. I've heard Bill Walton say it. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean. But you know that 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 whole thing about who's greater, who's better. You know, it's just opinion. It's just who you like and who game you like and who excited you the most when you were watching them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what I think.
I mean,
Can I jump
you
on?
said, go ahead.
Here's my take, right? I try not to get in that whole conversation.
Hmm.
Because here's the thing. What I think the injustice is done to anybody that we talk about is why can't the conversation, and I'm kind of leaning like Ikone is the thing is, how come you give me the top five centers, give me the top five guards, give me the top five, so then you
Right.
have your Jordan, your Kobe's. You can't say, you can't talk basketball without talking about Jabbar. You can't talk basketball without talking about Bill Walton. I mean Bill Russell. You can't talk basketball without talking about Wilt Chamberlain. I mean those guys, yeah, they played back in the day, but I mean I seen the stat line the other day with Wilt Chamberlain. I mean this dude had almost like 30 rebounds, 24 blocks. He's scoring 100 points in the game, but and I get the time difference, but when you sit down and you truly talk basketball, talk it in the way that is, here's my top five centers, here's my top five guards, shooting guards or whatever. But and I agree with it. And Kobe is Kobe, LeBron's LeBron, Mike. And here's the thing: I love basketball, and I enjoy all of them when they played. And that's the thing. When somebody goes, "Who's the best?" I'm a basketball fan. I don't have a number one. I don't have any I can't sit here and say who's my favorite basketball team besides the Panthers because my cousin coaches there. But besides that, I just turn on the game to watch the game to love the game. So when Jordan was doing this thing, Kobe was doing his thing, LeBron's doing his thing at a high level, I'm just grateful to be able to see it and say, you know what? I witnessed these dudes in their prime. I'm witnessing them on the way out, and I just enjoy all of them.
Yeah, but you know, Mike said ain't no go. Mike said that's something for the fans to debate. That ain't something for a
Exactly.
player to debate.
Exactly. I mean, and they'll do that till till they throw dirt in everybody's face. But I just think it's a good conversation. But my thing is, I just enjoy the talent. Just to say, you
Yeah,
know what, that dude could take it to the rack.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right, right.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I kind of this what I'm gonna say. 40 million a year, is that gonna put more eyes on the NBA because Mike is in the commentary space.
I think maybe in the beginning it's gonna be kind of like the Tom Brady thing. In the
Mm,
beginning, it's that aura of seeing Tom Brady do it, but then from game one, they said Tom Brady was terrible at it, and or whatever. So it's like they kind of wasted that 30 million or 37 million they giving Tom Brady. I don't know how Jordan is going to do on a nightly basis because I know NBC haven't covered a game in years. So this is like
years.
a
Yeah,
comeback for them. So I mean, I used to love watching it back in the day when they did it. But is Jordan going to be on the level of the greats that did it? You know what I'm saying? Like commentate these games. I don't know. Like to me, you gotta look at what's my man name? Hubie Brown. Hubie Brown is probably one of the greatest ones as far on the NBA level when he's commentating the games. Because the way he
uh-huh.
breaks down Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, they like the comedy show of it all, but they very great at what they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I even like the newer
I
guys
know.
like Richard Jefferson. I like listening to Richard Jefferson, Reggie Miller talk the game. You know what I mean?
I
Or whatever, and
mean,
the
I
nuances
mean,
and stuff.
I like Mark Jackson because you know, I love what he said, Mama, there goes
There
that
goes that
man.
man.
That man,
Yeah,
man
yeah,
down, hand down, hand
Man,
down,
my
man down.
yeah, yeah,
That was
my
his thing or whatever. Like when he said that he started that. But so I don't know. I mean, of course I'm a listen to it in the beginning just to see what it sounds like. It's gonna be weird to him doing it, but I'm with Coach. Is this gonna be something that he's gonna be want to be dedicated to
it,
do on
and
a
it
on a weekly basis or a nightly basis, wherever it is?
right.
No, I
And
think
that,
he's bored.
hey,
I
right.
think that's really what it is. He's
Yeah,
bored.
and you think about who you gonna pair him up with? I mean, he done kicked Charles Barkley to the curb, right?
Yeah.
He don't get along with nobody that calls him out. So who you gonna sit and like now my favorite guy announcer to listen to is Kevin Harlan. I mean the
Yeah.
energy
Yeah.
that he brings to the game when you watch the game, it's remarkable. I mean,
Yeah.
but the
He
thing is,
animated on that
it
play.
yeah, I mean who do you sit down and chop it up with? Because
Is Kevin
we,
Harlan? Is that the
I
one that
like.
always say bang? Is that the one that always say bang?
oh yeah, he's always just high energy, man.
Yeah.
As soon as you turn the game on, I'm like, oh, Kevin's got the game tonight because you
You,
know he's
you,
gonna be
you,
bringing it.
Coach. I always, even though he don't commentate NBA, but I don't think that there's no commentator like Dick Vitale. He's the
Oh my God.
greatest to
Oh,
ever do it. The
oh,
greatest to ever do it to me.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, without a doubt. And because you know what, he's passionate. He's a huge caller, and I don't like how ESPN is kind of they've thrown in them. And I know his help, but even before his health got there, they started kind of snubbing and giving Jay Billis all the big time games.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
you
they try to say he was too biased towards North Carolina, but God bless Dick Vitale because they did say he just went in remission. So that's great.
hey
That's
man,
great
yep,
for him. So hopefully maybe he can get back to it or
yes
whatever.
sir.
Because I love to hear his voice again. So we're gonna end this
Boy,
thing.
listen.
We're gonna get into the NBA playoffs and the review of what we've seen tonight. Of course, like it's gonna be 2-1. The Thunder tonight didn't come out with no kind of energy. Minnesota did what they supposed to do, come out with the energy, playing hard, defensive, swarming around. So, they look like they pretty much, unless some kind of miraculous comeback happened. Last time I checked, the score was 53-25. And so I was like, ooh, yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely gonna be.
I kind of, but when me and you talked about it, we said that Minnesota can possibly take one, but I'm gonna tell you this right here. You remember when listen, the Thunder gonna come back and beat the dog breaks off them, boy. This next game, watch,
Yeah, yeah, I
watch.
believe they gonna be they gonna be butt hurt tonight. So they probably gonna be hurt to losing like this tonight. So because they did the same thing, I think the last series when they got beat real bad in one of the games,
Yeah, they
and
did.
they came back and dominated after that. So you right, you know what I mean. So I'm gonna say this before I throw it over to Coach. I'm like I've been said. I said after the game one, I just felt like the Thunder got more players that can score on a regular than the Minnesota does. And then when you got a big man who doesn't give you absolutely nothing, really, but a few blocks here and there, and he can't control the paint on the offensive end at all as far as getting baskets,
Hey man,
then that's a huge problem.
hey man, you know a nickname I gave Rudy Gobert?
What's that?
Goma Power off Andy Griffin.
Not Goma
I'm t-
Powell, Lord have
I'm t-
mercy.
I'm t- I'm t-
Yeah, Lee, not Goma. I was just watching
Yeah,
Andy Griffin last week too, and Goma
yeah,
Powell has been cutting up too, boy.
yeah, yeah.
So you said Goma Powell. I said, you know what? I sat in the hotel and I said, I know I'm getting old when I'm sitting here watching doggone Andy Griffith at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I know. Every evening I try to get a couple episodes in,
Yeah.
just to keep it real.
Boy. All right. All right.
Uh,
So what's your thoughts on it, Coach, on the
You,
on the
you,
series?
here's the thing, and I'll say this is the NBA. In order to win the championship, you have to build a team for a 7 game series. I can roll into town. I can beat anybody on the 82 game schedule. I can fly in, beat you, get on the plane, and get out of there. But to win the NBA championship, you got to do it defensively. You got to build your team for a 7 game series. And then when you turn around and Jacob calls them Goma Powell, I call him Mr. COVID, right? Because he was the one that went to the press conference and touched everybody's mic, and then next thing you know, he tested positive and they shut everything down. But in that, when you look at what, oh my God, man, Minnesota is too one sided. OKC is they're long, they're athletic, they can run the floor. And plus, guess what? That game was over with. They got on the flight and they flew to Minnesota, right? Then
Hmm.
they checked in the hotel. They went to bed. Minnesota went and they got in their own bed, right?
Yeah.
So it's a difference when you do that and when you sleeping in your own bed and getting out. And plus, Shea with him dropping, think about it. What did he have game one? Game two, he had 38, 31. Game one and just 9 assists. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not all about him. He picks and chooses. And you can't stop him on that mid range. So I think they got, and Jacob's right. They got embarrassed tonight, and it's over with tonight. So I give them the one game, and I think it's gonna be over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because they just looked disinterested. Like they was, they
Oh,
was throwing bad. They was doing untimely bad
just
passes, and you just could
no,
tell
it's
the energy, the focus wasn't there. It's like, you know
no,
what, y'all can have this.
no.
We
Yeah, think. I
tired.
mean,
We done flew in.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I
No
mean?
game. Think about it. What they do? They just like we said. The game was over with. They already had their bag packed. They went. Straight to the airport. Get checked in the hotel. They might have did a little shoot around, and that was it. So when you don't have no sit down game prep, that's what you get on game three.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, game on the other side, let's to the Knicks in Indiana. Now I'm gonna say this. I at first, I called it for the series started. I said Knicks in 7, but I wouldn't be surprised if it go the other way. Now at this point, at this point, I would say Indiana in 5. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So
All, all I'm gonna say is this right here, man. Can you please check on Spike Lee? Is there a nurse? Is there a nurse in the stadium, man? Is there a
hey,
nurse in the arena?
Jacob, and that's the main reason why I want the Knicks to win. Because I said, boy, Spike Lee been a fan since the Last Supper. He been a fan so long of the Knicks. I was like, man, I just want to see them win because of Spike Lee. Spike Lee got to be the most loyalist fan to be a celebrity I've ever seen. I was like, how when does Spike Lee do movies? Because you at the game, you don't miss not one game. And
Man,
I don't think Spike Lee has ever missed a game in the time that I've ever seen him I'm talking about we talking about going back to the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? So this back from Reggie Miller, all them days, but like Jordan, all them coming in there. So he been going for at least 30 something, 34, 35 years he been going. And I've never known if Spike Lee missed a game, I want to do a history lesson to see if he ever missed a game in the last 30 something years. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I'm like that just for him alone. I don't care about Tracy Morgan and all them other guys.
No.
Spike Lee, he been there from day one. I want to see him and he cost him some games because he get to talking, he get to yapping, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So and rile up the best player on the other team. But I just feel like
man,
Indiana got too much. They got too many players that can score. They got Halliburton, they got Turner, they got Siakam, and even Draymond Green, and I think Channing Frye. A couple people said it. Thing about with them, you can't really game plan against them because they don't
Mm-mm.
have a true number two. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can get off at any given night.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
I'm like with Jacob on that. When you look at that, just like game two, first of all, I go back to coaching. Is when you had that timeout with 14.7, why don't you call it advance the ball and set something up? You didn't, right? You go
Mm-hmm.
down and then Brunson just takes that quick shot, and it was just like looked around and it was just like, and then he shot it the way to me he's deadly when he's on the left side of the court, more toward the arc than he took that on the right side of the court. And I'm like, okay, is that what you should have done? You shot it and you didn't call a timeout until they was up like 5 with like 4 seconds to go in the game. And they called a timeout. Even my wife said, why they call a timeout? And I was just like, you know what? That's on Thibodeau. But then you turn around and you put Cat on the bench. And then when you look at his stats and you just like game two, this dude had 7 rebounds. Dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
You
I ain't
you
never been a
got you
fan
got
of
to
man,
get
Cat.
on the glass, man.
I ain't never been a fan of Cat.
man,
I mean, not Cat.
man.
I never been a fan of Thibodeau. I never been a fan of Thibodeau.
I'm just like, why don't
You
you
know what I
Well,
call the
mean?
timeout and only 7 rebounds? And the Knicks. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
I'm a Knicks fan. If I had to pick a team, I would ride with the Knicks. But I'm like Jacob. We need to put Spike needs to have he needs to buy 2 seats to put him a nurse sitting beside him during the game. But they're done. They are done.
yeah, yeah.
and then Spike had to relive the Reggie Miller moment.
Oh yeah,
You
in
know what I
game
mean?
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh man,
Oh yeah,
oh man.
that was crazy. That was crazy. And then my thing was after he did that, and then it's kind of like premature, and y'all that should have been y'all thing in the overtime to take over because to kind of get him back for that. Because I guarantee you, if this would have been the Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mays, the first thing would happen in overtime. First time Halliburton would have came down that lane, they would have took him out there just for doing that nonsense. You know what
Hard
I'm saying?
foul.
So I mean, I know they can't get away with it like they could back in the day, but get one of them guys on the end of the bench that don't hardly play. I just need to go out there for one play. When he come
Right.
down the lane, hit him with that bow like Coach
Right.
just said, and then you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and go sit back down. You know what I mean? That's how you do it. Because the Knicks don't play nobody but six, 7 players anyway. If one of
Okay.
them guys come off the bench and knock somebody out and go back and sit down,
See,
you know what I mean?
and that's the whole thing. So when you squander, what was it, 12 to 14 point lead with 2 minutes and 37 seconds, dude, you lose a game and you up that with 2 minutes and 37 seconds, you need to go. You should have just went on and said, you know what, we ain't even gonna play no more. That because
Yeah, yeah,
that's got to be one of the
Yeah.
worst meltdowns in the history of that league. Just
yeah.
it's
It
an
is. Yeah.
embarrassment.
But you was up by
Just
9 with 50 seconds to go.
and
So
you
it's
look
one thing to be up by 15 with two and
They,
a half, but you up by
they was up.
9 with
They was
50
up by
seconds
four.
to go.
They was up.
that's I mean
They was up by 14. But all they had to do, man, they didn't even have to shoot the basketball from the perimeter like they were doing. All they had to do was drive to the cup and get fouled and go to the free throw line every time.
Well, the thing about it was they should have fouled the 3-point shooter before they even got down and had a shot. And I'm gonna say this to take up for Brunson on this one play, on that last play. The only reason why I feel like he rushed it because he might have thought they were gonna try to foul him and
okay.
to
I
keep
got
him
you.
getting that
Yeah,
off. So I
yep.
think he kind of panicky and be like, once I get past half court, I
I'm
need to
launching.
take it before they foul me.
Right.
I think that was his thinking or whatever, because that's not really Brunson's. Like even when he shoot threes, he don't shoot them that far out. So
Right.
I think that was the
Exactly.
thinking behind it. You know what I mean?
That's a good call. That's a good call. But yeah, man,
Yeah,
I tell you what, not taking that time out, I'm just like, man, I don't know. I was having an out of body. I'm like, advance the ball, set something up, man. But hey,
Right.
that's why he's coaching and I'm sitting here not coaching.
yeah. But anyway, y'all fellas, great show. This is our first time that we ever did just kind of have a. I call it the chop up show.
Yes,
We just
sir.
come on
Yeah.
here to chop it up a little bit and then talk about whatever the sports or whatever. So I think it was a great show, great energy. I appreciate everybody who came on tonight listening to us, our crazy selves. You know what I'm saying? We sitting around like y'all drunk uncles on Memorial Weekend. So you know what I mean. So everybody have a blessed weekend. Be safe out there. Don't eat too much. You know what I mean? I know a lot of y'all gonna go to 2 or 3 different barbecues this weekend. So
Yep.
just be safe. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna be doing a little sip, don't get in behind the wheel, get your Uber. You know what I
There
mean?
you
Get
go.
somebody
There
to
you
take you
go.
home.
That's
You don't
right.
And if
you don't
you
want to be in jail over the weekend on no holiday
Yeah.
weekend because you
And
ain't gonna
just
get out till Tuesday. So
right.
and
anyway,
if you and if you drinking some moonshine, set you behind down somewhere. Don't go nowhere.
Exactly. And just let us just remember all, and let us remember why we're off Monday, and just the sacrifice that everybody made. So
oh yeah,
appreciate that.
For
yeah. I need
sure.
to go
For
find
sure.
me. I'm a veteran. I need to go find me a free plate somewhere.
There you go. All right.
All right, y'all.
All
Y'all
right.
have a good one, man. See y'all
Y'all be
next week.
blessed. Always a
Yes,
pleasure,
Peace.
brothers. Have a
yes,
great
Yes,
one.
sir.
sir.
Peace.